All right, here we go, getting after section 2.2, where we'll be adding integers. So our learning target is going to be able to add two integers or add more than two integers together. And here's the deal. I'd love for you to try these without using your calculator. Since we're just integers, we should all be able to do that, right? We should be able to do the basic skills of adding without a calculator, but you can have it there to check your work. Our key terms: opposites. Okay, two numbers with the same absolute value but different signs. So, for example, 4 and -4 are opposites. 6 and -6 are opposites, right? And we use that definition in the additive inverse to define that, right? It's an integer and its opposite are called additive inverses. And you can kind of think of inverse as opposite. The inverse of addition is subtraction. The inverse of multiplication is division, right? And vice versa. Okay, so the sum of any number and its additive inverse is 0. Okay, so think of that again as opposite. So if I look here at a couple examples, it says, what is the additive inverse of 5? That'd be -5, right? The opposite. Additive inverse of -4 would be +4. All right, using a number line to add. Okay, so if we look here, starting at -2, right? So, right, I mean, I guess if we start at 0, so going to -2 would get me here. And then if I'm going to add to that -3, that's again, direction is left, 1, 2, 3. Right, that gets me to -5. Look at the next one, +7 plus 4. And notice that the first number doesn't say +7, right? But that's understood to be a +7, right? So I start at 0 and I go +7 to start, and then adding -4. So -4 is to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we had a +7, and then adding a -4, right? We end up at +3. Missing a parenthesis there. -4 plus -5. So again, if I start at 0, right, I do my -4 first, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, gets me to -9 as my solution. Okay, and kind of looking at this, when I have an adding problem, right, an addition sign, if the numbers are the same, I can just add them and give them the sign they both have. So for example, I can do 2 plus 3 and get 5. Since they're both negative, it's going to be -5. Right down here, -4, -5, they have the same sign. So 4 plus 5 is 9. Since they're both negative, that stays negative. If they're opposite signs, right, one positive and one negative, right, think about opposite subtract. So +7 minus 4 is going to get me to 3. So same sign, we add the numbers and give the value, right? So for example, if I had 2 plus 5, those are both positive values. 2 and 5 is 7. Since they're both positive, so is the solution of 7. All right, when adding, if the numbers are the same, right, both positive or both negative, you can add the absolute values together, right? So add their positive values together, and then leave the sign the same as the original integers, right? +3 plus +5 is 8. Since they're both positive, right, my answer is a +8. Here, 7 plus 3 is going to be 10, but since both values are negative, my answer should be -10. Right, when adding integers with different signs, we subtract the absolute values and give the result the same sign as the integer with a greater absolute value. Right, think of the saying opposites attract, right? remember this by opposites subtract, right? So if I look here, I have a positive 3 and a negative 8. Okay, I have a positive 3 and a negative 8. So what I'm going to do is they're opposite signs. So I'm going to take 8, right, because this is absolute value. This is absolute value. I'm going to take the bigger one. It's easier for me to do that way. 8 minus 3, and I get 5. Now, I have a positive 3 and I have a negative 8. This value is bigger, so I know that my sign should end up with a negative. Right here, I'm going to do 9 minus 4, and I get 5. Since the 9 is bigger and it's positive, my answer stays as a positive. All right, take a minute and pause the video here, and try these ones that include adding 3 or more integers together. All right, if you remember back to chapter 1, we talked about the associative property for addition, which means it doesn't matter the order in which I add numbers together. I should get the same result. So some of you will just plow through and just go in order. Others might look at ways to combine. Like when I look at this one, I have a positive 9 and a negative 9. I know that that's going to give me 0, and I'm just left with negative 3. Another way to look at it, I like to add the numbers that are the same signs first. So I have 5 and 7, which is 12. And then I also have this positive 11, which would give me 23. And then I'm adding to that a negative 3. Right? So it's really 23 minus 3, which is 20. Since this value is positive and it's bigger, my answer stays positive, right? And we really don't have to. It's understood. I can just write 20. It's understood to be positive. So here I'm going to add the positives together, right? That would give me positive 15. I'm going to add these ones together, and that would give me negative 7. All right, so I have different signs here, right? A negative and a positive. So I'm going to do 15 minus 7 and get 8. And since the 15 is larger, it's going to end up being a positive 8. So over here, I have a negative 3 and negative 4. It's negative 7. Plus a negative 8 will give me negative 15. Plus a negative 2 will give me negative 17. So I have negative 17 and a positive 7, right? Opposite signs. So I'm going to do 17 minus 7 and get 10. And since the 17 is a bigger absolute value and it has a negative, my answer would remain negative at negative 10. Some practice problems for you, right? We start on page 67. Again, try without a calculator first, all right? But if you have a calculator, you can use that to check, or just go to the answer key provided and check your answers there, right? You're going to be working on number 1. You're going to be working on 12 through 40 even, number 50, and number 53. All right, hope everyone has a great day. We'll talk to you soon.